Bro, we're not ready, bro. We stay ready, bro. We stay ready. Okay?
You told me 7 o'clock. We're starting at 7:30 p.m.
I told you at 6:45. I want to record podcast at 7 o'clock. Currently, it's 7:37 p.m. Okay, you tell me who messed up.
Can I ask you a question? How many?
You tell me who messed up.
Yeah. So, how many topics did you update? In the Google Doc.
Approximately one.
Possibly one. Yes. Yeah. Which one? Tell me.
It's the first one.
I wrote that. I wrote that like 2 weeks ago, or like a week ago.
Yeah. It's a big lie.
That's not a big lie.
Bro, listen, the truth is, what you really do is you go on the Ariel Helwani show and you copy their topics, okay?
No, that's only when I'm feeling, when I'm feeling...
Are you feeling what?
I don't know.
Tired?
Yeah, tired. Tired is probably a thing. I couldn't find anything.
You're tired? It's a Monday evening and you're tired.
It's a slow day.
First day of the weekend, you're tired.
It's a slow day. What do you want me to do? It's
a slow day. Make it a fast one.
There's a lot of Bellator talk, right? Because there's a card that came... it was last week, but other than that, it's like, again, there's like John Jones beef. This guy wants smoke from everybody, right? It's John Jones beef. And Conor, did he sign the contract? Did he not sign the contract? Dana White saying, oh, it's done deal. I don't know why he wouldn't sign it, but we're just getting it to him. So that basically just tells me like the UFC is ironing out the contract to him and letting his Connor's team look over it and like do that.
We have a new rule of thumb now, okay?
What?
We only talk about Khabib, John Jones, and Conor every other week, okay? I'm tired of talking about them. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to make a video about it. I don't want to make a thumbnail about it. I don't want to see them.
It would be easy to make the videos and thumbnails because you already have them done. Just like invert the videos.
Shade on my thumbnails.
Yeah, why not? Listen. Let's get on to the actual news. So speaking of Ariel Helwani, on Ariel Helwani's show, Leon Edwards says he's promised a title shot if he beats Khamzat. So if you are living under a rock and you don't know about the Khamzat Chimaev hype, he's been looking for a fight, and he eventually, surprisingly, got it against Leon Edwards. So Leon Edwards is a person that's been supposed to get a title shot for a while now. He kind of got replaced during the whole pandemic situation. I think he was injured or something happened where he didn't necessarily get that fight against Tyron Woodley. He was supposed to fight Tyron Woodley, but then Gilbert Burns fought him instead, Tyron Woodley, and then beat him. And then now
he's taken off rankings though.
Okay, so then after Gilbert Burns beat Tyron Woodley, then he was touted as the next person to get a title shot. Leon Edwards, because of inactivity, the UFC decided said, hey, let's just take this guy off the rankings and be a dick to him, right? And completely disrespect him and their continuity. There's so many other guys that have been so inactive, right? I don't want to talk about Conor, but Conor's inactive, right? Has been inactive in the past, but they don't take him off the pound for pound. There's other people, right? The Stipe, they didn't like Kane back in the day. So they took him off, and then all of a sudden you hear this news that he's facing Khamzat, right? So Khamzat is not ranked, or he's not ranked very high. He's not in the top 10 yet, but he has a chance to Leon Edwards to beat Khamzat, and according to him, the UFC has said that he's going to get a title shot for sure. So I see why Leon Edwards potentially would have done it. Was like, okay, if I beat him, I get a title shot for sure now. Plus, I get the hype train of Khamzat, and I show people like, you know what, you see this guy, this unstoppable person that you guys have built up. I'm gonna beat him, and I'm gonna show you why I'm champion level fighter.
So for Leon though, I guess like it doesn't really matter if he. So if he wins, he's still guaranteed a title shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's guaranteed that. So
no. He's saying that prior it was really wishy-washy, right? They weren't talking about whether or not he's getting the title shot for sure or anything like that. What happened now is that because he took the Khamzat fight, he's saying the UFC said, hey, if you beat Khamzat, we guarantee you a title shot. But if he loses, of course he's not going to get a title shot. They're probably going to use that momentum that Khamzat gets from beating Leon to give Khamzat the title shot, which is completely possible.
If Khamzat beats Leo, you think that he'll probably end up going to top 10?
Of course, yeah, of course. And then guys like you will be screaming from the rooftops, "Give me Brock Lesnar!"
No, listen,
brother, DC, give me Brock Lesnar.
From day one, I am not on this hype train. Okay,
you're not on the hype train.
I don't believe in Khamzat.
Why?
He's been fighting bums. Okay, he's been fighting bums. The only reason why this whole hype train got so big was because of DC. DC and how he basically proclaimed he's the next Khabib.
No, besides that, bro, it's not only that. He's also beating these people pretty impressively, and then he's taking back-to-back fights, and his just he's something that we haven't really seen in a while, especially from the 170 division. We've seen Khabib, but Khabib is a little bit different. Khabib doesn't necessarily hurt you with your hands, and Khabib is not that aggressive in terms of his wrestling. Right, the ones that we've seen is from Khamzat. He's very, very aggressive with it. He uses it very different than Khabib as well. But to be fair, to Khabib's facing much higher talent level. But
he's pretty young as well.
Khamzat,
I think 26.
Yeah, he's 26. So Leon Edwards, I don't think he should have taken this fight, but he's in this position where what other option does he have? He can wait even longer.
He could have fought Wonderboy Thompson though.
Yeah, but for what reason? Wonderboy is lower ranked than him. Plus, isn't that big of a name? He's big of a name. He's big name, but I could still see a situation where he beats Wonderboy and they still don't give him a title shot. Right?
But how low would Leo go if he loses to Khamzat?
I don't know. Maybe he would he would still be in the top 10, of course, but he would take a few steps back in terms of getting another title shot. Right. But anyways, that fight is coming up soon. We'll see what happens. There's going to be a lot of eyes on it. It's going to be very, very interesting. I think.
Do you want to give a preemptive pick?
Yeah, I think Leon Edwards beats him. I just value Leon Edwards' time in the octagon, the level of fighters that he's faced. Just overall fighter, we've seen a lot more from him. Plus, he's done more than Khamzat. But then again, you never know, right? Khamzat is a bad guy, so he's capable of many things. How about you?
I agree. Same thing. Honestly, and I'll keep saying it, I don't believe in this hype train. I think Leon Edwards is going to derail the hype train, and then Khamzat will go back to Sweden. No shade. No,
he's go back to Sweden?
Yeah, bro, he's Swedish.
Yeah. He's Chechnyan, I think he is, right?
Yeah, but he trained in Sweden.
His camp's out in Sweden.
No, man, he's a good fighter. Listen, I'm not gonna hate on the guy. I'm just honestly, I'm not a fan of his.
Sounds like you're hating.
I'm not a hater. I'm just not a fan of his whole demeanor, trying to copy Khabib. You know, it's getting old.
But he's not necessarily calling himself Khabib. Other people are.
Yeah, but the way he talks too, and his mannerisms, you know.
Oh, the way he speaks English. I know what you mean. Yeah. The way that he has his beard. Bro. How could he have a beard that looks like Khabib's, bro? Come on.
Of course, bro. Yo, listen, man. He copied his trademark term, smash. Okay.
Smash? That might be a Russian thing. You never know. Paul Felder loses to RDA in a decision loss. RDA asks for Michael Chandler, and so does Tony. Paul Felder, very, very, very good guy. He comes in on a 5-day notice, loses 22 pounds. He saves the card essentially because that card didn't really have that many other fights. UFC has canceled better cards in the past. I don't think they would have.
Did you hear what Felder said though?
I don't think they would have canceled this card, but he stepped in and saved it. Sorry, what did Felder say?
So what Felder said post fight, he's he hadn't trained MMA in about 4 months. He was training for a triathlon, right? Yeah. So I think only 1 week prior he just started hitting pads. Yeah. So he hadn't sparred, he hadn't hit pads or anything for 4 months.
MMA shape.
Go in there and fight for 5 rounds.
Yeah. In order to get to MMA shape, you gotta go into MMA gyms and you gotta grapple and
for at least 6 weeks.
Yeah, hitting pads is not gonna get you in shape. I know that he was training for a triathlon or something, which does help a lot, right, with your cardio. But does it exactly translate completely to MMA? Not exactly. Like other guys that train do triathlon training will be like the Diaz brothers. Yeah. So, but even then, those guys are always grappling, right? They're both black belts in jiu-jitsu, so they use that in conjunction, right? So for some people that might think like, oh, he was training a triathlon for a triathlon, right? Why wouldn't he be just in shape, right? Why would he gas out? Well, because it's more complicated than that. It's a whole body conditioning factor that has to be taken into account that goes beyond just triathlons. Triathlon.
And you have to give it to him too. He was saying that I believe this card on Saturday, he's going to be commentating that too. You know.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
It's quite an achievement, you know, to fight and then just 1 week later go and commentate a card.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a company guy. You can see it from his comments where he's always taking UFC into account for whatever decision he makes. Like realistically speaking, a normal fighter, not to say that he's abnormal, but a typical fighter won't necessarily take a fight with 5 days notice and lose that much weight just for like probably a regular paycheck that he gets, right? He, with the way that he speaks, he's very concerned and very thoughtful when it comes to the company itself and saving the company and making sure that he's always in good graces with the company. I just hope that he gets what he deserves in a positive way. Like you see, sometimes there's guys that are company guys that don't necessarily get the same respect or treatment that they necessarily deserve. Like only until recently did Cowboy get this huge paycheck, right? Pay raise, and that was really because of Conor. But before then, this guy was taking fights on such short notice and killing himself and getting knocked out, and he would go on winning streaks and he would go on losing streaks. Like it's kind of hard to see when their commitment to that company goes a little bit too far sometimes. So I just want him to be treated like the way that he deserves to be treated. Okay, so RDA asked for Michael Chandler. Yeah. I don't think Michael Chandler would take that fight because RDA just came off of a win against Paul Felder, who's not any slouch. But the situation is that Paul Felder came off, took the fight 5-day notice, lost 22 pounds of weight, was not in fighting condition, not necessarily ranked that high. So I don't think he'll take that fight. But on the other hand, Tony versus Michael Chandler probably is the more likely of a fight if both people agree, but also sign that contract.
Well, it keeps Tony busy because I don't think he's going to be in the lightweight picture for some time with Conor and Dustin and Gaethje.
Yeah.
But I think if Tony wins or Chandler wins, they're going to probably have the next shot, right?
Yeah, and the sooner that they fight, the better, because then it lines up closer to Conor and Dustin Poirier fight. So
well, he said UFC 256, right?
Yeah, right. Next one is 255.
Tony said. Yeah, so card after that.
Yeah, so
I could see happening.
I would really want all these guys to fight very, very close to each other, so that barring injury, these guys, they can have quick turnarounds and face each other again. So if Conor and the Poirier fight each other in January, you can have Tony in February, and then both of them, the winners of those, or if anything, could fight, or the losers can fight in like April.
Man, you know what sounds exciting, man?
What?
A fight with Conor and Tony. That just sounds like a nice match.
Conor versus Poirier is not bad either, but Conor versus Tony.
Conor versus Tony.
Conor versus Tony is fun. It's fun.
It's fun to watch, 100%. Yeah. It would be something that because it would be cool too, because we can see that if Tony wins, then he would be in the same category as Khabib, right? As both of them could be Conor. But if Conor wins, then it could show some progression, and maybe if Conor beats Tony, it would maybe bring a Khabib back, Maybe bring Khabib back for the 30th fight.
Yo, let that man rest, man. Remember how you said you don't want to talk about Conor, John Jones, add Khabib to that list,
I know,
bro.
but you have to. But you have to with these guys, because they're always in the middle of the news.
Yeah.
You can't really push them away.
It is what it is. Joaquin Buckley. If you guys don't know who Joaquin Buckley is, put some respect on his name. I can't even say his name properly.
Matrix knockout.
The man.
Matrix knockout.
The man is known for the jumping spinning kick to the face. He fights again. Against another not well known opponent. I believe his name is Thomas. The last name Thomas. But he's fighting. I feel like there's going to be high expectations on him. A lot of people will be watching, and he might overextend. In his previous fights, he did get knocked out in his first UFC fight, I believe. So by Kevin Holland, I believe his name is. I feel that he's
fighting Krause, right?
I'm not sure. I don't know about Kevin Holland yet, but Joaquin Buckley, I feel like he's going to go into this fight. I really want him to manage the hype well enough so that he doesn't get outside of his game. Where I don't want him to go into there and then start throwing spinning kicks and overextending and doing stuff that he wouldn't necessarily do if he didn't have that knockout finish from last fight.
It's going to be a statement fight, though, because with that last knockout on the UFC Instagram page, on YouTube and Facebook, everything, that was the most viewed clip, right?
Yeah, but I don't want him to do that because, like, if he does that, now he's not necessarily being the fighter that he is. He's just trying to appease that or trying to one up that knockout. He probably will most likely never reach that limit again, right? Or be able to do something that spectacular. But that doesn't mean that he's not able to be one of the better or top 10 fighter in MMA. So from a casual standpoint, yes, people are looking out for another spectacular knockout, and he might be able to do that, but probabilities doesn't really favor him being able to do that. I just want him to fight his fight, continue to progress through the division. There's been talk about how he doesn't have the best reputation in the gym and stuff like that. I hope they're not necessarily true, but he takes that energy and he turns it to something positive and continues with this momentum, similar to what Khamzat did. There's negative stuff said about Khamzat too, but not on the level that I've heard from about Joaquin Buckley. I've heard that he's not necessarily the best training partner, or people that are in the gym don't say the best things about him or as a person and as a fighter. But I hope he just takes that energy and goes on to do great things. So Mike Perry was supposed to face Robbie Lawler, but Robbie Lawler had to pull out. There was a very Mike Perry has had a very strange career. He's always been able to have highlights and memes here and there, and he had tatted up his face. One of the crazy stories involving his career was he actually had his girlfriend at the time be his corner woman in between rounds. She would come out and she would wipe sweat off his face, try to give him advice. But keep in mind, she has no MMA background at all, right?
Mike Perry's a character.
It's very, very strange. It was kind of a statement where he was like, I don't need all this whole team around me to help me win. I can win myself. And he went on and he won that fight, right? You have to give credit. He won that fight. Does that necessarily mean he doesn't need a coach? I don't think so, right? You always need a coach. You always need structure. Or at least that's what we've seen from all the greats. There's always been a coach behind these great fighters. Any great fighter that you think of, their coach is just as great, right? So if you think of GSP, it's Faraz Zahabi, right? Or Greg Jackson. For John Jones is Greg Jackson, Winkle John. For Khabib, it's Javier Mendez and Father Plan. So Father's Plan. So there's always a correlation between great fighters and great coaches. But what the next stage of this Mike Perry saga is that Darren Till was supposed to corner Mike Perry in his next fight, that fight fell through, so he wasn't able to corner him. But now there's talks of maybe Mike Perry brings out his pregnant wife or a pregnant girlfriend to corner him. So keep a watch out for that fight.
Wait, Perry's fighting Till?
No. Darren Till was going to be Mike Perry's cornerman.
That's kind of
yeah. That was the whole thing. He was going to be in his corner. These guys like they have no connection to each other. They just started talking, and I think there was like some beef between them, and then it turned into.
No, I think it has to do with Till and Perry's wife. I think they used to date. I think. Yeah,
so there was some beef there, right?
I mean, that's very awkward. If that does happen.
So it was gonna happen. It was gonna happen, but then it fell through because of the fight fell through as well. So let's see what happens in his next fight against Tim Means on this next card. I'll be interested to see who's in his corner, but regardless, it's going to be a good fight. Mike Perry puts on his show. Man, he throws from the hip.
Yeah, but that would have been a war. That would have been a war with him and
Robbie.
And Robbie
yeah,
Lawler.
He's always wanted Robbie Lawler. I remember he fought somebody and he called him out after the fight. He's like, "Oh, I want Robbie Lawler," and I was like, "Bro, what are you doing? Right? Like, how are you gonna fight Robbie Lawler?" And then as you go on, you're like, you know what? Why not? They both have styles that would complement each other, and a potential for some knockouts or some sort of finish. At least it'll be entertaining. Not necessarily the best for health